See, you lied. You said there's not that much money there.
Unless there's a Federal Reserve drop.
I will say this one, you could not pay me to be an armored car driver
No way.
or security officer.
No way.
The money's insured. That's the sad part, is the money's insured is not worth your life.
Bank tellers have alarms underneath the counters. The signal's already gone out that there's a robbery in progress. You've got to get in, you've got to get out. And the last thing you want to do is get into a hostage-taking situation, because there's just no getting out of that. Hey, I'm Camden Pace, and I'm an ex-bank robber.
What? They told me you were a Navy SEAL.
Today we're gonna be watching Payday 2 and having a ball. I'm looking forward to it, looking to see if there's something new I might learn.
Really? You're a bank robber?
Yes, swear to God.
Well, I'm Chris the cop, and I'm a real police officer, and I'm gonna tell you.
You're an actual, oh.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, I want my lawyer.
That's what they all say. And we're gonna be talking about the realism of the gameplay, what's real, what's not real, and just giving you our perspective from both being a police officer and a bank robber. First World Bank on loud. This is your expertise right here.
Bank, big time bank.
You're gonna watch them how they do it.
Remember the bank manager.
This is a huge bank.
You right?
Uh-oh,
yes.
now we got the mask.
You should see the gear. This game is just. Oh, look at. Did you carry? You
crossbow.
forgot the crossbow when you did your bank
my
robbery.
God. Oh, this is wicked, man. Ooh, a crossbow too. Silent and deadly.
Okay, so they're actually co-oping. See, I told you, you do the ninja crouch. When you're crouching, you're a ninja. No one can see you.
So they're going to somebody's office.
All right, take out the servers. Take out the electricity. See? I mean, that would be a good strategy to take out the power. So what I get from this, what I've been told by the gaming community, the police in this represent a corrupt government. And in reality, the bad guys are really the good guys.
Oh, Robin Hoods. Great.
Yeah, so.
Okay, I can get behind this.
Yeah, you like that drop from the second story?
Yeah, and I was going to say, that hurt my knees watching that. So 4 people are simultaneously playing.
Yeah, they're co-oping together.
Okay. It's up and running. Ooh, crossbow at point blank range.
I don't know if that's going to be my preferred weapon or not.
Oh, explosion.
What did he do there?
It looked like a duffel bag inside
It did look like a duffel bag, huh?
Yeah.
All right, dude, that's some fast running.
That was really fast.
Thermite.
Okay, now hold them off till the thermite finishes.
Now the gun battle begins.
Police dropping through the
Yeah.
ceilings.
I just want to let you know, 24 years of being a police officer, I've never dropped through a ceiling.
Never came through an air duct,
No, ever.
maintenance shaft.
I'm definitely not going to do it
ceiling.
with the knees I have right now. So on this, we kind of see all sorts of different scenarios how the officers get into the building. We see them rappelling down from the roof, see them coming down the elevator shaft, that type of stuff. Your average patrol officer has no experience, no training to get into a building like this. It's going to be your special weapons and tactics that have rappelling, have fast roping, the various different ways that we can get into a building. We have quote unquote what we call a depth cord where we can make holes into walls. But on top of that, as we see these guys rappelling in, with the gear we carry, I think I mentioned it already, I went from 160 to 220 pounds when I went full kit. So we're not gonna be rappelling in like that because you're just too heavy, you have too much weight on you. There is a lot going on there.
Yeah, this is pretty busy.
Oh, he just gave himself up. Like that, he just like, hey, I give up. Interesting concept of the officers joining the robbers after being threatened. No, it's not going to happen. You're taking an oath to protect life and property. I can't speak to every law enforcement officer, but I think the majority of us would fight till there was no more fight left in us, and we're not going to make a situation even worse and turn against other officers or potentially even get into a situation that's going to harm a member of the public or a fellow officer. So I don't see that being realistic.
I'm just wondering when they're going to start stealing stuff.
I think they're waiting to melt the floor.
Okay.
So they have to hold off the authorities.
Oh, with the
before.
thermite, they got to melt the floor to get to
I believe
the vault,
so.
probably. I would have been gone probably, 3.5 minutes ago. Well, I'd imagine they are waiting with bells on outside.
That's what they do for the flashbangs. They do that big,
Yeah, the big, just white out.
Yeah.
I do like the realism of the graphics and the way that does look like a vault. That's a huge vault. Security deposit boxes.
Oh, all the money. See, you lied. You said there's not that much money there.
Unless there's a Federal Reserve drop, and that would only be at a large bank. Kids, that money you just saw on the table, that's really heavy. You need a lot of help getting all that out.
That crossbow.
It's wicked. Yes. It'd be cool if they put an explosive tip on the crossbow.
Kind of like Daryl Dixon from The Walking Dead meeting.
Yeah. No, okay, explain that to me. How'd the money just disappear from his
Come on, look at
crossbow?
that. He's putting it in the crossbow.
Keep in mind, you know, I used to play Pong and Space Invaders.
Right. Looks like he's doing the bags up, right?
Okay. All right. Yeah.
So I think it'd be safe to say that this is not our average bank robbery.
Not at all.
In an active shooter situation, ever since Columbine happened, we have now been trained that if it's an active shooter, we're going in. Nobody no longer waits for SWAT. That's no longer a tactic that law enforcement utilizes. Columbine changed that. So if this was an active shooter bank robbery, our first couple of officers are going to be entering that. What they'll do is they'll put on, well, they already have their ballistic vest on, but they may put on a tac vest now. Every officer is now armed with an M4. They're going to be putting their helmets on, and they're going to get into a team, and they're going to head towards the gunfire to hopefully neutralize that suspect before they kill any other innocent people.
What was that? Looked like a
That's what I was seeing
moving
before.
ATM machine.
No, it's actually, I think it's a shield.
Oh.
And what's interesting is, in real life, there's different types of shields. Not all shields are ballistic. I mean, you have a riot shield, which can take on bottles and batons. Then you have shields that are good for small munitions, like up to like a 45 caliber. And then you have rifle-rated shields. But what's ironic is rifle-rated shields weigh so much, it's just not something that you would be carrying around because it's a tremendous amount of armor.
They'll come back for more, so use your time well now.
Did you see that hallway? It's riddled with bodies.
Yeah, they're having to hop over people in here.
I've never heard of a situation where SWAT got overwhelmed. We would back away, bring in as much firepower as necessary, and then do a major perimeter on this.
Okay, were we down in the basement now, it looks like?
Yeah, probably the getaway now. They got the bags
Okay,
down,
we got
and
the
they're gonna get into
bags.
the vehicle.
And that's how you do it. Textbook execution.
U.S. Marshals. Oh, boy, I remember those guys.
Go bank on stealth.
All right, so. This fella was just, he's just there, right?
I was hanging out.
He's just hanging out, okay. That was a good shot to be able to nail the surveillance camera like that.
The objective is to get the key cards.
Uh-oh, uh-oh, uh-oh.
Don't worry, I wouldn't worry about that back door is not open, right?
Right. Oh!
All seems fine. We'll holler if I see anything.
Brown picked him
He
up off the
jumps on the
ground.
comms and lets them know everything's gonna be okay. Put the bag, oh yeah, put the bag in the corpse, yes. I've seen it take sometimes up to 2 to 3 corner investigators to put a body in a body bag.
Oh, the throwing star. This is a throwback to David Carradine in Kung Fu.
There's a bunch of people who have absolutely
Death
no idea what you just talked about.
I know, I dated myself. Maybe some old guys are watching this or something.
You gotta relate to them, John Wick. You gotta do John Wick. Everybody who knows who John Wick is now. He's probably going, who's John Wick?
Confess, I have no idea who John Wick is. I was just really impressed with the, because I actually was, when I was a kid, I had one of those. I'd throw it and stick it in trees outside my mom's house. Pretend I was like, I can appreciate how they can throw these stars from 20 feet away and hit the surveillance cameras, because I couldn't do that. And I was pretty wicked with one.
I think, was that a Sawzall?
Yeah, I guess he went to Home Depot before he went on the heist. The thing is, even if you take surveillance cameras out or you were to take down the guards, bank tellers have alarms underneath the counters. The signal's already gone out that there's a robbery in progress, so closest patrol units are gonna respond, and a small army's gonna descend on this bank. Whoever's available is coming. That's why, really, for anyone, if they wanted to successfully rob a bank, you can't spend hardly any time in the bank. You've got to get in, you've got to get out. And the last thing you want to do is get into a hostage-taking situation, because there's just no getting out of that.
Here we go. Green lights. Let the time lock do its thing.
Hurting all these people is unnecessary, by the way.
Yeah, that's actually just adding more charges.
Oh, you're looking at 5,000 years right now. Or we're gonna kill you, or we're gonna execute you, and execute you again. We're gonna inject a pharmacy in you.
Right? We have this little cocktail. You're not gonna wake up.
Yeah.
Look around. The codes must be written somewhere.
Well, I can only speak back to 1998. Name brand banks and not just little town banks had timer locks, and codes I think were only shared by the branch manager and regional manager, and they were changed every so often. But even for them, if they had to get in the vault themselves, they couldn't just put a key in and unlock the door. You know, I've often wondered if that was really such a good idea or not, because a lot of people panic. They think the people are lying when the person says, I can't just open the vault, it's gonna take 5 minutes or 10 minutes. They think they're stalling, and I think that puts their life in danger, actually. A lot of people who rob, it might have been their first time, or they are not sophisticated, and they just think the people don't want to open the vault for them, when they're powerless over that situation, so they panic, and I think that's how some people get shot and killed. I did get into a vault, and it just so happened that the timing couldn't have been better. They had a Federal Reserve drop. They were loading the vault at the time that I robbed the bank. So I didn't even have to ask for someone to open it. There was no waiting on the timer switch before it could be opened. But then realistically, like I said, money is heavy. You can only carry so much out. There was a lot, it was heartbreaking. I should have brought 3 bags, but had the vault been locked, I would not have been able to get into it. There wouldn't have been enough time for the person who has the authority to unlock the vault. Sometimes it does take 2 people, and those people have separate keys to actually unlock that vault. Oh, got some cash. Some's rolled, some stacked. If you do see bricked money, they come in $10,000 bricks. That's $100 bills. If you're wondering what $1 million would feel like, so 110,000 bricks, you could get that in a very large duffel bag, but then it would probably weigh close to 60 pounds, if not 80. I think 80 would probably be a little bit more accurate.
Okay, so I actually like the part that he has to change saw blades because your saw blades will eventually fail on you.
Yes, he'd put it through a lot too.
But don't get me wrong, we've actually used a tool very similar to this to actually open up people's safes. As long as we have a warrant to search everything, we can go ahead and do what we need to do to get inside of it. But yeah, we'll use something very similar to something like this to get past those locks. Now it's time to get the getaway car. Yeah, we got the A-team of
okay.
to see Mr. T driving it.
You know, I'm gonna say no. I don't enjoy them because they all got away.
I love it.
Aha.
Oh, they're gonna take one. That is a lot of security for those.
That's a lot.
Must be something really important in there. I'm not a bomb expert, but I think the C2 would be better if you were going to try to get into that, or depth cord, which is something that law enforcement use. I think C4 would be overkill, unless you're just like a demo expert. But that's just my experience. I will say this one: you could not pay me to be an armored car driver or security officer.
No way.
There was a time in the late 90s to the early 2000s where armored car drivers were getting killed every robbery. And they're making minimum wage, working for these private armored car companies, and the money's insured. That's the sad part, is the money's insured. It's not worth your life. And then they're just a target 24/7 with all of this money, jewels, various things that they're responsible for. Yeah, you could have that. I'd rather take my chances as a police officer before doing that job.
Yeah, and I can speak to that. I ran across several guys who were doing time for armored car robberies, and they were in prison for the rest of their life. I mean, I heard of everything from shoulder-held rockets blowing the cars up to, like Chris said, they would just execute the driver and his assistant to leave no witnesses and with total disregard for their life.
I can't imagine getting killed for property or for money. I mean, I have no problem laying down my life to try to save somebody. I got no problem with that. I don't care who you are, but to keep someone's money safe, no way. And that's what these guys do. These type of takeovers do happen, and they don't happen as much as they were, but there was a time in the last 10 years that armored car robberies were pretty prolific, especially here in Los Angeles.
Yeah, you would think they would almost want to armor them with a gun turret and have somebody with a .50 caliber sitting on top of it.
Yeah. And armored car vehicles, ladies and gentlemen, I have driven one. They're heavy, they're slow. They're not the type of vehicle that, you would think that would be the perfect vehicle for, transporting cash and goods and stuff like that. So I could see how they would be a very easy target driving one myself. And don't get me wrong, I know we were kind of making some fun of the game a little bit, but there are crews that are like this. I mean, you said you had worked alone because you didn't trust anyone.
Right.
I can appreciate that. But there's also crews that do work like this, and they work in tandem, which makes them very scary because they have a plan. And I would think that they probably have already decided that if they meet any resistance, they're not going to go to prison. They're going to try to take that resistance out, and they're going to go out in a blaze of glory.
Well, and a lot of things that I'd heard too regarding the armored car robberies, a lot of it was inside jobs too. They have information on the routes. There's checkpoints as when that armored car is going to be at a certain place. They can reel them right into an ambush, and then they do have teams that work on that. Would attacking an armored vehicle in the street be more of a high risk than actually robbing a bank? Yes, I would have to say most definitely. I myself never even considered an armored vehicle, not for someone who worked by himself. It would have been too much. You're gonna draw civilians in, you're an open target in case snipers were deployed. You're drawing way too much more attention to yourself. A bank would be a much easier in and out. And then you're gonna meet with resistance automatically from the driver, the assistant, and then most likely someone in the back of the vehicle. Right there, you've got 3 people you've got to do something with, and they're not just going to lay their weapons down.
He makes a great point. The more time you spend, the more time you give us to get resources there. More excerpts are going to be covered, more possibilities are going to be covered. If you see like this bridge connecting 2 buildings, that's going to eventually get covered, as well as all of the exits. That's why we call it the 1, 2, 3, 4 side, because we cover all 4 sides of a building. If you take too much time, we're going to eventually pin you down. And the best part is with one phone call, we could literally have hundreds of officers converging on a building within minutes from the primary agency as well as surrounding agencies. So that's why time, like he mentioned, it plays such a vital role in these.
Well, I hope you enjoyed today's Gameology review of Experts React on Payday 2. I really was impressed with this game, had a lot of fun, thought the visuals were awesome, thought it was realistic.
Of course, the bank robber would enjoy the bank robber game, right? Here I'm the police officer watching the bank robbers just execute the crap out of cops.
It felt good.
Everybody, if you like this gameplay, why don't you come on over to my channel, Chris the Cop, and you can watch me play games like Payday 2, as well as games GTA 5, SWAT 4. Would definitely appreciate the watch, and you just never know if you'll like that content as well.
Hey, and if you really enjoyed bank robberies, heists in general, check out my YouTube channel at Camden Pace. I've got a few different things going on, but one in particular is what prison was like and why you don't want to go.
I have seen many suspects say, oh, I don't know whose safe that is. Oh, it's in your business, it's in your house. Oh, you know what, a friend of mine brought it over,
Oh, I was just gonna say, when asked about anything, it's like, I don't know.